Thunderstorm. Flight delayed. I waited at the airport for 3 hours. Chad never showed up. When I called, he hung up. I told myself he was probably busy at the lab. Then I saw a post. It was his side profile behind the wheel. The caption said, "He knows I'm scared of thunderstorms, so he drove me home." In the past, I would have called him again and again, demanding answers. This time, I just liked the post. Then I packed my things and left. He searched for me everywhere. Red-eyed. Begging me to come back. Chapter 1. I landed after midnight and immediately received an alert about a severe storm warning in the city. Before boarding, Chad had messaged me, "I'll come pick you up." I knew what that meant. He was trying to make peace. Last time, he'd promised to go home with me over summer break to meet my parents. He never showed. I waited until the plane took off. He still hadn't come. Then I saw another post from a younger student in his lab. In the photo, he was changing her door lock. The caption read, "There are bad people out there." Thank goodness my hero showed up. I called him right away. He only picked up when the ringtone was about to end. His voice was calm. "She's a young girl living alone. No one's looking after her. If something happened to her, it would affect the lab's progress." He said it so lightly, as if I were being unreasonable. After a brief silence, he asked, "What do you need?" He had forgotten our agreement. I hung up and went home by myself. That's when we stopped speaking. It's been a month now. Before, I was always the one trying to break the ice. If he spoke to me first, I'd feel ridiculously grateful. Now he was coming to pick me up, and I felt nothing. I only replied, "Okay." He knew my flight time. When I reached the parking area, I called him. No answer. The rain soaked through my clothes in minutes. I must have looked pathetic, standing there like I'd lost my mind. The only taxi that passed by, I waved it away. I still had hope. I was waiting for him. And like some kind of masochist, I opened Chloe's latest post. "He knows I'm scared of thunderstorms, so he kindly drove me home." In the photo was Chad's familiar profile. His long fingers rested on the steering wheel. My black hair tie was still around his wrist. I tapped like. Chad wasn't coming. The ride app showed over 100 people in line. The shuttle had stopped running because of the delay. So I walked back into the terminal alone. Completely drenched. Chapter 2. Chad and I were in the same graduate program. We moved in together during our first year. I got home at dawn. Only then did he wake up and realize I hadn't come back. As I opened the door, my phone rang. He stepped out of the bedroom and hung up. We looked at each other. "You're back." I nodded. I didn't feel like talking. I opened the TV cabinet and dug out some cold medicine from the first aid kit. Made myself a cup and drank it, but my head was still spinning. I sat on the couch for a while, then got up and quickly fixed breakfast. By the time I started eating, he had just finished washing up. He saw there was only one serving on the table. He stood there for a moment. I could feel his eyes on me, but I didn't look up. He didn't say anything. Just checked his watch and walked out. I packed up and left right after. There was a major academic conference today. I'd rushed back specifically for it. I had a fever. I felt awful. When Chad messaged me, I was still a little out of it. "Are you mad?" I had no idea what he meant. After a brief pause, another message came. "No food for me today?" He was always buried in the lab and forgot to eat. I was in humanities, with a more flexible schedule. Ever since we moved in together, I'd cooked for him every day. When he was too busy, I'd even bring the food to campus. Even when we were fighting, I never stopped. He always said I interrupted his work and would casually throw the food into the trash. This morning I was in a rush. I forgot to make his. By noon, I still hadn't brought him anything. But hadn't he always acted like it didn't matter? I replied briefly, forgot. Get something yourself. Then I put my phone away. It wasn't until the conference ended that I saw his next message. I'll pick you up. Chapter 3. My head was pounding. I didn't have the energy to be dramatic, so I agreed. I waited outside the building for half an hour. His car never showed up. Then my phone rang. Chad. Are you out yet? I looked around. I've been out for a while. I don't see you. He let out a long breath on the other end. I could picture it, brows drawn together, lips pressed tight. His annoyed face. I'd learned that expression well. Every time, I'd shrink a little, afraid of setting him off. He probably thought I was upset. His tone softened. I'm at the usual spot. In front of the coffee shop. I was quiet for a moment. I'm by the science building. He snapped. Why did you go there? I ended my experiment early to go home with you. If you were going somewhere else, couldn't you have told me? He hung up. I scrolled through our chat history. Before I came back, I had sent him the address. I had told him clearly I was returning for this conference. It had only been 2 days. Had he forgotten? Or had he never cared? I took a cab home. He was already there. That almost never happened. Usually, I was the one who got home first, cooked dinner, and waited. More often than not, the food would go cold before he showed up. Back then, when he finally came in, I'd go over and hug him, complaining softly, why didn't you tell me? I waited for so long. He would push me away. Can you not walk on your own? Can't you eat by yourself? But I wanted to eat with you. Will you die if you eat without me? Do you really have to make a scene over something this small? I would fall silent, afraid of annoying him. After that, I started leaving food in the warmer for him. I'd eat alone, then sit on the couch with the light on, waiting. When I walked in, he actually came over and took my bag. There was guilt on his face. Rare and obvious. Anna, I've been really busy these past couple of days. I didn't notice you had the conference today, so I went to the wrong place. So he had realized it was his mistake. It's fine. I went to remove my makeup and look for some medicine. He stood there, watching my face. Then he said, I didn't mean to skip picking you up yesterday. The rain was heavy, and Chloe lives far. Her lights were out, and she was scared. She's just a young girl. I helped fix it. My phone died afterward. I thought you'd already made it home, so I left. I had thought he was annoyed and left. Turns out, he never came at all. So in his eyes, she was a young girl. I was already old. I nodded. Let him think I understood. He grabbed my hand and turned me toward him. Are you mad? I looked at him blankly. No. That seemed to confirm something. His expression darkened. You are mad. I've explained everything. What else do you want? You didn't even make me food, and now you're acting like you don't care at all. Only then did it hit me, if this had happened before, I would already be screaming at him. Every time, he would just frown and watch me lose control, like I was some kind of clown. Thinking about it now, I must have looked ridiculous. No wonder he didn't like coming home. But this time, I just looked at him. I felt nothing. I was sick. I'd had a long day. I was tired. I'm going to take a shower. He hadn't expected that. The fire went out of him. I'll go with you. He was looking for a way down, trying to smooth things over with intimacy. I gently pushed him away. Not today. I went into the bathroom. A moment later, the living room door slammed shut. Chad had gone out again. Chapter 4. Chad stopped talking to me again. In the past, whenever we fought and fell into a Cold War, I'd panic. I was always afraid of losing him. I would start overthinking, did he really love me, or was I just fooling myself? I kept opening our chat, pretending to send the wrong message, just to see if he'd reply. He never did. He wasn't interested in anything I sent him. Sometimes I'd pretend to tap my phone by accident and call him. He wouldn't pick up. Back then, I'd be restless. I couldn't focus in class. All I could think about was going to find him. But now, I felt relieved. I was sick and just wanted a good night's sleep. Chad moved into the guest room, which suited me perfectly. I cooked for myself and stopped caring whether he ate or not. It wasn't like he ever ate what I made anyway. He'd only complain that I was annoying. I brought breakfast and lunch to campus. For dinner, I ate at the cafeteria. I spent my days buried in the library, rushing to finish my paper. I started investing my time in myself. Every day felt full. After we moved in together, most of my energy had gone to Chad. I picked out his clothes, cooked balanced meals, shared my daily life with him, reminded him to drink water and eat on time. He rarely replied. I never got tired of trying. I always went home on time, cooked, and waited for him, but he was always busy. Either with research, experiments, or dinners with his advisor. The number of times he actually came home to eat could be counted on one hand. When my paper was almost done, I finally felt lighter. With some free time, I opened social media and instinctively looked up Chloe. Sure enough, while Chad and I were in a Cold War, they had been together the whole time. They watched the sunrise from a mountain, went to friends' gatherings, drank together. I zoomed in on the photos. They'd gone to that lookout on the mountain. The place I'd always wanted to go. The place Chad always said he didn't have time for. So it wasn't that he didn't have time. He just didn't have time for me. Through Chloe's camera, Chad looked the same as always. But with her, he was patient. He was relaxed. He was happy. If this had been before, I would have started a fight again. At first, he would explain patiently. Then he'd cross his arms and watch me fall apart, cold and distant. When he got tired of it, he'd slam the door and leave. Then, after I calmed down, I'd be the one to coax him back. But now, looking at those deliberate photos, I felt nothing. I even had the leisure to tap like. My advisor read my paper and asked again, "Are you really planning to stay here for your PhD? You don't want to go abroad?" This time, I didn't refuse like before. I hesitated. When I left campus, I ran into Chad. "Finished early today," he said. Out of habit, I opened the passenger door. The Anna's seat sticker I'd put there was gone. Chloe was sitting in the front seat, smiling sweetly. "Anna, what a coincidence. He's giving me a ride home. You don't mind, right?" I smiled. Of course not. I closed the door and got into the back seat. Chad noticed something was off and explained, "She doesn't get carsick in the front." I nodded and leaned back, texting my advisor. Seeing that I didn't care, he said nothing more. He probably found it strange. I used to insist on sitting in the front. I'd even put up a little sign. He pinched the bridge of his nose. "Are you a dog? Do you really need to mark your territory? My advisor rides with me too. How do you think that looks?" I was embarrassed. "What if I make it smaller? You wouldn't notice unless you looked closely." He stopped me, annoyed. "It's just a seat." How childish. Was I asking for a seat? I was asking for a place. Chloe chatted easily with him, mostly about lab work and people from the team. I couldn't get a word in. Then she turned around. "Anna, why didn't you come to my brother's birthday dinner the other day?" I'd had dinner with his sister a few times. She was always polite to me. But she hadn't invited me to her birthday. Chad hadn't taken me. He took Chloe instead. I looked out the window. I didn't know it was her birthday. How could you not know? Has he never introduced you properly? I smiled and didn't answer. Before summer break, his sister had messaged me, asking if I still liked pink diamonds. I didn't understand. She said Chad was busy and asked her to pick one for him. I thought he remembered our anniversary. I waited, quietly excited. On the day itself, I waited until it was dark. He never came. In the end, I saw the pink diamond necklace on Chloe's feed. I cried and fought with him. He said I was being unreasonable. They invited me to a birthday dinner. Was I supposed to show up empty-handed? It only happens once a year. You're really going to make an issue out of that? But our anniversary only happened once a year too. The memory faded. The air in the car felt awkward. Chad glanced at me in the rearview mirror, looking uneasy. I closed my eyes and ignored him. Chapter 5. When we got home, I opened the small cake I'd brought back from campus. Chad changed clothes and came out of the bedroom. After a moment, he asked, "Where's mine?" I was a little surprised. "Oh. You want some too? Then order takeout." He froze for a second, then sat down across from me, looking hesitant. In the past, I would have rushed to ask what was wrong, whether he felt unwell. This time, I lowered my head and searched for a movie to watch while I ate. When it was my sister's birthday, we were in a Cold War, so. He started. I gave a brief response without looking up. "Oh. It's not a big deal. It's over. There's no point bringing it up." He stared at me, stunned. He couldn't believe I would say that. After all, he'd said those exact words to me countless times. That summer, I went home alone. My parents kept asking about him. I had no choice but to call and ask if he could come. He was at the hospital with Chloe, who had broken her leg. He sounded irritated. "I can't get away right now. I'm not going." We got into a fight. "What do you mean you can't get away? Does she not have family? Can't she hire a caretaker? She's alone, studying here by herself. It's not easy for her. Do you really have to be so unreasonable and act like a shrew?" I smiled bitterly. In his eyes, I was just a shrew. After a moment of silence, I asked, "So being with her is more important than meeting my parents? Is meeting your parents really that important?" Without me, Chloe would be completely alone. Now I was returning his words to him. He knew they hurt. The cake was a little dry. He handed me a glass of water at the right moment. That's when I noticed the hair tie on his wrist. It wasn't mine. It looked like something twisted twice around. A bra strap. He saw me staring. He pulled his hand back and tugged his sleeve down. Awkwardly, he explained, "Chloe didn't bring a hair tie to the lab. I didn't want to waste time, so I lent her yours. She lost it and gave me this one instead." I gave a short laugh. "You don't know what that is? It's just a hair tie, isn't it?" I couldn't tell if he truly hadn't noticed or if he was pretending. So I said it outright. "It's a bra strap." He froze, then held his wrist up. "How could it be a bra strap?" "Look, it's." The clasp snapped open. He panicked. I don't know how this happened. I really don't know." I smiled and turned my eyes back to the movie. "Let's break up." He slammed my phone face down on the table. "You're breaking up with me? Are you trying to start something again? I told you I don't know what's going on. What do you want from me?" I looked at him calmly. "I'm not starting anything. I'm serious. Do you have any idea how exhausting you are?" I didn't respond. There was no point arguing. He stormed out and slammed the door. I didn't ask where he was going or what he was doing. After the movie, I organized my application materials. When I fell asleep, Chad came back. He lay down beside me. He waited. And waited. I didn't move closer. So he turned and pulled me into his arms. Chapter 6. The next day, he picked me up like nothing had happened. I was perfectly fine with it and opened the back door. Chad's expression shifted. "Anna, why aren't you sitting in the front? It's just a seat. It's all the same." "Sit in the front," he said. I didn't argue and got into the passenger seat. That's when I saw a pink diamond necklace by my feet. The same one from Chloe's post. Chad recognized it too. We had argued about it before, so he immediately explained, "Chloe is always like this. Careless. She's always losing things." I examined it. "It is pretty. If you like it too, I'll ask my sister to find you something better." "No, thank you." I was long past the stage of expecting things. I handed it to him. "Don't forget to give it back to her. It won't look good if it gets scratched." "Anna, there's really nothing between us," he said. I cut him off. "Chad, it doesn't matter." What? "I mean, it doesn't matter anymore. I don't care what you and Chloe are." His face went pale. I turned away and looked out the window. After that, he started waiting for me every day so we could go home together. Sometimes, if I was busy, he would go back early and cook for me. He even put away my packed things every day, returning them to their places. Like a stubborn child trying to make up for something. I let him. Now we sleep in separate rooms, like roommates. Chapter 7. As soon as I got into the car, Chad said, "My sister forgot to invite you to her birthday last time. She wants to take you out for dinner this time." I paused. "That's not necessary, is it? We were going to break up anyway. There wouldn't be much contact after this." Chad didn't give me a chance to refuse. When we arrived, she was already waiting. Claire smiled apologetically. "I'm so sorry, Anna. I was busy those days and completely forgot." Then she shot Chad a look. "It's all his fault. He didn't remind me." She finished her drink in one go. I raised my glass with a smile and took a small sip. "It's fine. I was busy too." She smiled. "As long as you didn't take it the wrong way." Before all the dishes were served, the door opened again. "Sis, I'm not late, am I?" "Chloe, come sit," Claire said warmly. Then she explained to us, "I really get along with Chloe. She happened to be nearby, so I asked her to join us. The more, the merrier." Chloe sat between the two of them. Claire put food on her plate. "I keep telling you to come visit me when you're free. You never do." Chad placed food on my plate, attentive as always. At the same time, he excused her. "The lab keeps her busy. Not like you, always out and about. Careful. You can't have soy. You're allergic." So he even knew what she was allergic to. We'd been together for 5 years. He still didn't remember that I didn't eat onions. I quietly picked the onions out of my bowl. Chloe stuck out her tongue playfully. "Good thing you noticed, or I'd be in trouble." Claire looked apologetic. "That's on me. Chloe, just tell me if there's anything you can't eat." I'd always thought his sister was pretty nice to me. Compared to Chloe, I realized it wasn't much. With me, it was just polite courtesy. His sister's attitude was his family's attitude. And in a way, it was his attitude too. Because he had never stood up for me in front of his family, they probably assumed we wouldn't last. There was no reason for them to invest. The three of them chatted and laughed. I sat there like an outsider. Chapter 8. I was leaving the country soon, so I needed to settle my things in the city. I went back to my parents' place. I hadn't told them about going abroad in advance. I decided first and planned to explain later. As expected, they were furious. In their plans, I was supposed to finish grad school and marry Chad. To people of their generation, a man like Chad was rare. And now I wasn't just continuing my studies, I was going overseas. So, Chad agrees with you going that far, my father asked. My mother picked up on something and added, if you're going that far away, we should at least find someone there to look after you. What if you get sick with no one around? I said I could take care of myself, but my father wouldn't listen. In the end, he asked his former colleague, Mr. Grant, if his son could keep an eye on me when he had time. Chad called in the middle of the night and woke me up. What are you doing? Sleeping. His voice rose instantly, as if I'd betrayed him. Where are you sleeping? At home. You're not. Your luggage is gone. Where did you go? His breathing was uneven. At my parents' place. Turn on video. Let me see. Half asleep and irritated, I snapped, are you insane? What is wrong with you? I hung up. He kept calling. I put my phone on silent. I suddenly remembered last year, when he went to another city for a conference. I'd seen his jacket tossed casually on Chloe's bed in her post. The caption read, "Strange city, but I'm not alone." I'd called him and demanded he turn on video. He'd lost his temper. If you're sick, go get treatment. It's the middle of the night. He never explained after that. I sighed. My mindset was different now. Then Chad sent me a photo. It was the younger student from my department who had helped me move that morning, standing beside me as we went downstairs. I locked my screen and ignored it. But messages kept coming, lighting up my phone. Annoyed, I opened them. Who is he? Did you run away with him? When did you get together? No wonder you've been ignoring me. What's so great about him? Don't I deserve an explanation, Anna? I didn't want him making trouble at school and dragging the other student into it, so I replied, he's just someone from my department. The messages stopped. I fell asleep. In the morning, I saw he had sent more during the night. Asking when I was coming back. Why I suddenly went home and took all my luggage. The last message, sent around 5, said, "Do you want me to come pick you up?" I didn't want him to actually show up, so I replied that I was heading back today. He responded immediately, saying he'd come get me. Usually, I was the one glued to my phone, replying instantly. He was always busy, sometimes he didn't even read messages, let alone reply quickly. I didn't respond. But when I exited the terminal, he was there. His eyes lit up when he saw me. There was even relief in them. As if he'd found something he'd lost. Why didn't you tell me you went home? He asked. I looked at him blankly. Do I need to report every time I go home? You're a girl. Being alone isn't safe. Last winter, it got dark early. I left campus ahead of time to go home and cook. I realized someone was following me. When I sped up, he sped up. When I slowed down, he slowed down. I called the police. While waiting, I called Chad. He only picked up the third time. Chad, what do I do? Someone's following me. Call the police. I'm not with you. What do you expect me to do? I was shaking, running, crying. I'm scared. There's no one on this road. He was irritated. What can I do? If you have time to call me, you should be calling the police. If you hadn't called, our experiment wouldn't have failed. The police caught the man. I was giving my statement until late at night. When I got home, he was sleeping peacefully. If he had cared this much back then, I might have been happy. But now, I just found it ridiculous. Chapter 9. He took me home. I had planned to stay at a hotel for the last 2 days. But maybe we should talk. Properly. Openly. At least end things cleanly. He went into the kitchen to start dinner. I got up to help. He was annoyingly good at everything. His knife work was precise. In 5 years together, it was the first time I'd seen it. For once, we were getting along peacefully. When the last dish was almost done, his phone rang. He glanced at me and hung up. It rang again. He pretended to be annoyed but kept stealing looks at me. "If you want to take it, go ahead," I said. He let out a breath and answered. It was Chloe. Her voice was soft and panicked. "Chad, what do I do? That creep from last time is outside my door again." "Stay there. I'm coming right now." He hung up, grabbed his jacket, and turned to look at me. "Wait for me. We'll eat together when I'm back." Then he left in a hurry. I finished the last dish and set it on the table. I didn't wait this time. I ate alone. Afterward, I curled up on the couch and scrolled through my phone. I checked Chloe's feed. Nothing. Normally, whenever she was with Chad, she posted. Tonight, it was quiet. I glanced at the time, locked the door like I always did, and left. I knew he wouldn't be coming back. And I wouldn't either. Chapter 10. By the time Chad called, it was already afternoon. My team knew I was leaving soon. They wanted to get together one last time. He sounded tired. "Anna, where did you go again?" "Chloe's place was broken into last night. I stayed with her at the station, then helped her pack and move. I just finished." "Okay," I said. "Anna, I'm sorry. I should have told you earlier so you wouldn't wait." "Oh. I didn't wait," I replied calmly. "Anna, The younger student pulled up at that moment. "Anna, get in." I hung up. As soon as I got to the restaurant, I received a message from Chad. "There's a lab dinner tonight. Want to come with me?" For a second, I thought I'd misread it. His team got together all the time. He had never brought me. His excuse was always the same: no one brings their partner. It's not appropriate. I felt disappointed, but the word partner made me strangely happy. I wanted so badly to be part of his life, to be closer to him. I pestered him over and over, asking to go. In the end, he gave in. He sat me at a separate table and told me to eat on my own. I sat there alone, staring at a table full of food, watching him block drinks for Chloe. I cried. That night, I wondered if I was really that embarrassing. Was I really that unpresentable? One of the women on his team noticed me. "You look familiar. Are you alone? Come join us. It'll be more fun." I couldn't eat. I ran home crying. After that, I never asked him to take me to his gatherings again. Now that he was inviting me on his own, I didn't want to go anymore. "I already have plans, so I won't be going." He called immediately. "Who are you meeting?" I thought about it. There was no need to be specific. "My team." "You don't know them. Men or women?" I suddenly remembered when Chloe had just joined. They threw her a welcome dinner. I called and asked when he was coming home. He said he didn't know, sounding annoyed. I heard a woman's voice and asked who he was with. That set him off. "They're my teammates." "You don't know them. You ask the same questions every day. Don't you have a life? You want to control everything. Are you bored or what?" When he hung up, I clearly heard him say to someone, "Some crazy woman dialed the wrong number." And now he was asking me the same questions. I lost my patience. Both. Same team. I have to go. There was a brief silence on the line. His voice softened. "All right. Don't drink too much. I'll come pick you up later." My advisor called for me. I hung up. Chapter 11. Almost everyone from my team showed up. Knowing I was leaving soon, I felt a little sentimental and drank more than usual. Feeling stuffy, I stepped outside for some air. That's when I saw a familiar figure in the hallway. I'd forgotten, this restaurant was also a regular spot for Chad's team. When he saw me, his eyes lit up. "Anna, I thought you weren't coming." I didn't answer. The younger student came out of the private room. Anna, the cake's here. Come back and eat cake. Chad's face darkened. He recognized him, the same student who had helped me move that day. The younger student thought I hadn't heard him and walked over, looking at Chad. Anna, who's this? For some reason, Chad looked at me expectantly. An old classmate, I said. It was ending anyway. There was no need to be precise. I nodded at him, ignored the hurt in his eyes, and went back inside with the younger student. As I closed the door, I saw Chad standing there, looking small and wounded. Was he expecting me to introduce him? Before, when I brought him meals, he wouldn't even let me upstairs to the lab. Once, I ran into Chloe and his lab mates downstairs. I thought he would properly introduce me. He didn't. He listened patiently to Chloe, not even sparing me a glance, as if I were a stranger. It was one of his lab mates who asked, Chad, who is she? Only then did he finally look at me. Oh. She brings me food. Anna. He wouldn't even say I was his girlfriend. I'd had a huge fight with him over that when we got home. The memory flashed and disappeared, drowned out by the noise in the room. We wrapped up early. I went back to the hotel, showered, and packed. I had the strange feeling I'd forgotten something. At 3 a.m, my phone rang. Anna, are you guys not done yet? It was Chad. He sounded low. I went home already. He exploded. You went home? Why didn't you tell me? I've been waiting for you, do you know that? I didn't want to bother you, so I didn't call to rush you. The grievance in his voice cleared my head. I never told you to wait. He froze. How can you say that? But when he thought about it, I really hadn't. Fine. I'll be back in a bit. I hung up and saw a flood of messages from him. All asking when I was coming home, saying he was waiting outside, asking why I wasn't replying. I used to be the one who waited endlessly. I never thought the tables would turn. I put my phone on silent and went back to sleep. Chapter 12. When I woke up, I saw that Chad had called 48 times. I was rushing to the airport and didn't answer. While waiting to board, he called again. Anna, you're not home. Where are you? Why aren't you picking up? Do you have any idea how worried I am? I was planning to tell you the night before last, Chad. We're done. What do you mean? Are you mad? Because I went to Chloe's that day? Or because I didn't pick you up when you came back? Is it because of those things? Chad, you know the answer. It's been days. You should have processed it by now. This relationship is over. There was bitterness in his voice. Do we really have to end like this? I didn't answer. Anna, I don't want to lose you. I can't be without you. Tell me what I did wrong, okay? I'll never contact Chloe privately again. I said calmly, see? You do know what you did. He choked up. I'm sorry, Anna. There's really nothing between us. I shouldn't have ignored you because of her. It's not just her. We've had problems for a long time. The boarding announcement came on. His voice turned urgent. Anna, where are you going? Don't leave. I'll come find you. I've made myself clear. This is it. I hung up. I ditched the SIM and switched numbers. When I first arrived in Germany, Jason showed me around campus and the neighborhood. We were both alone in a foreign place, living in the same building. We became dinner buddies. Often buying groceries and cooking together. That day, as I walked up to the apartment building, I saw a familiar figure. No, that couldn't be. Why would Chad be here? He was leaning against the wall smoking. When he saw me, he straightened. I nodded at him naturally, like greeting an acquaintance. He hadn't expected that. His eyes reddened instantly. He grabbed my hand and looked provocatively at Jason beside me. Anna, don't you have something to say to me? Jason stepped forward, worried I might be in danger. I stopped him. He's someone I know. Okay. I'll go upstairs and wait, Jason said. After he left, I looked at Chad. I thought I made myself very clear the day I left. You said you'd stay here with me. Why did you leave me? Do you know how long I've been looking for you? You also said you'd be good to me forever. What's the point of chasing promises when the love is gone? The tall man lowered his head. Tears fell one by one. I'm sorry. I'll be good to you from now on. But I don't want a future with you anymore. He looked at me through his tears and asked the question I had once asked him countless times. Why? Why? Why you never came home? Why you never introduced me? Why what you gave others was the same as what you gave me? Those days I had tried so hard to forget came rushing back. Pressing on my chest, stealing my breath. I closed my eyes, steadied myself, then looked at him. There aren't that many reasons. I just don't love you anymore. Why don't you love me, Anna? Love me a little more, okay? Are you seeing that man? That has nothing to do with you. Don't come into my life again. I didn't want to tangle with him anymore. I pushed him away and left. I thought with his devotion to research, he'd go back after a couple of days. But I saw him every day after that. He followed me at a distance. Not too close. Not too far. I was confused. Wasn't his research busy? Wasn't he with Chloe? Until I logged into my old account. Through mutual friends, I learned that after I left, he searched everywhere for me. He even delayed his lab work because of it. And ended up extending his graduation. Chapter 13. The next day, when I came back from school, he hurried over. His voice was weak, but there was excitement in it. Anna, I heard you tell your classmate, that man isn't your boyfriend. So? I said. So? I have a fever. Could you stay with me for a while? Out of courtesy, I said, take some medicine. The hope drained from his face. He lowered his head. I didn't see him for days after that. Even Jason was curious. Where's your ex? Not standing guard like a statue anymore? Probably went home, I said. When we were together, he never had much patience for me. Staying around for over 10 days this time was already a record. Jason rubbed his arms. You have no idea. Every time I came over to eat, he looked like he wanted to swallow me alive. That afternoon, I got a call from Chad's sister. Anna, Chad got into a car accident near your place. I can't get away right now. Could you please go take care of him for me? Her tone was polite. I declined just as politely. I'm sorry. I can't get away either. Her voice turned cold. You dated him for so many years. He got into an accident because of you. How can you be so heartless? Does dating come with after-sales service? Did I ask him to come looking for me? Don't morally blackmail me. I hung up and blocked her. A few days later, Chad showed up again, leaning on crutches. Anna, can we have a meal together? No. I'm busy. Stop bothering me. He grabbed my arm, desperate. Not even one meal? You really don't want me anymore? I sighed. Go home. We're not possible. I've cut off contact with Chloe. I won't see her again. I'm begging you, come back, okay? I pushed him away. Chad, this has nothing to do with anyone else. I'm not going back. He froze, staring at me. I met his eyes. He saw the finality there. His hand dropped. He finally understood, there was no getting me back. I lifted my hand and gave him a small wave. Goodbye, Anne. Goodbye, to the version of me who used to wait. I wasn't going to stay in place for anyone anymore. At the corner, Jason was standing there with grocery bags in his arms. Walking back together? Let's make something good.